boys and girls, let's get started. Another geopolitical analysis video, this time a bit of a different format. It's been requested by a few that I analyze the current market situation, give my 2 cents, and look into the charts and show you guys how I do things behind the scenes when looking at what's going on around the world. So, very interesting article from Market Watch. Morgan Stanley declares that it's time to sell the US dollar. What does it mean? By Louis Goss. Selling the US dollar. What? Selling the US dollar for another fiat? For another devalued currency? What do they mean? What do the analysts, David Adams specifically, who's spearheading this analysis, explaining to investors broadly in terms of the dollar? Let's see. Let's take a look and I'll give you guys my opinion. Okay, so when they say sell the US dollar, they don't say it just for you to take it for a grain of salt. It's their playbook of the market leaders to announce what they're going to do and actually do it. And this derives value in many different ways. It's also a protection mechanism for them to say, well, at least we told you so. Okay? So in this situation now, I have the chart of the US dollar, what we call us traders the Dixie. Okay? So let's take a look at it. I'm going to go through many things today. We're going to look at crypto. We're going to look at the dollar. We're going to look at rates. We're going to look at some commodities. And I'm going to give you my perspective where we're headed in the short, midterm, so we can make some speculation. Okay, so on September 28th, give or take, some might say 27th, we had the topping of the US dollar in relative value to other currencies. And you can note here by drawing a trend line that it hit 114 and some. So ever since then, we noticed a steep decline down of approximately 12 something percent. And that 12% dive has led to many bounces along the way of 2, 3%, 5%, over here. The latest, ever since Trump was elected, 8%. So what does this mean though? Because when people look at the dollar value, as of late, it seems like it has gained momentum. Well, these are what we call reflexive bounces. These are strong bounces after something has dropped quite a bit. And in this situation, if you look at it since September till now, this entire thing is essentially an accumulation zone. When you see that there are buyers and sellers in the relatively short zone, so we could see the highest would be 107 to what we touched 108, down to 99.5, not even, a little bit more than 90. This is a very tight range of accumulation after a massive drop. So essentially, if we go back to the technicals and the fundamentals of TA, technical analysis, which I've been doing for some time now, the last 3 years, I have to say, this is a bear flag formation. So this bear flag formation, although in the short term it seems like it's gaining momentum, we can tell that at some point, mid-range of the highest topping point here, we notice a sell-off here, a sell-off, bigger sell-off, and potentially we're in this zone here of a bigger sell-off that potentially, because after a trend line, a line that is hit several times, it weakens support. I believe that we're going to see the dollar, and this is my opinion, we're going to see it down here. We're going to see another 10% at least. If you want to look at the measured move technical analysis methodology, Typically, when you get a move like that, at some point you will get a measured move down. So that would signify in the high 80s potentially. It potentially can happen. Now, in terms of the volume, we can't see the volume here, but the RSI indicator here is showing that the relative strength has been falling down much lower to the strength over here. So that means that we have a little bit more to go. Okay, this looks like a double top. Double tops are very often. Okay, so this is a dollar. The dollar looks to be devaluing even further into the election of Trump. Trump has mentioned that the interest rates should fall. He will make them fall. It's not him, of course. It's the Federal Reserve that is in charge and the central banks of the world that collude. Yes, they do collude. In this situation, if we look at the dollar, it's a bit of a caricature of the interest rates. So this is the long-term 30-year government bond. And as you can see, it resembles the dollar. With some delay, of course. But the 28th was around here that the dollar topped. The interest rates topped a little bit after that. So it doesn't have to follow the exact same date, of course, because this is one of the most liquid markets in the world, where people in government around the world trade bonds, and the interests are always inverse to the value of a bond, meaning that if the interest rate rises, the value of the bond that we can see in the equivalent of TLT, which follows this, that whenever, and we can go back and notice this, that whenever the interest rates rise, the value of bonds drop significantly. But what does that mean in terms of the greater scope of the markets? Well, as we can see over here, the SPY has been on a very, very steep incline, and a lot of analysts, a lot of traders are speculating that, you know what, this has gone for a little bit too long, and at some point what happens when you're in this situation where things narrow up and up and up, the market tends to drop a little bit. Okay, so we might be looking at a 5% drop. It's very possible. Okay, these trend lines here, they're not 100% accurate, but trend lines offer us a great support into what may come next. And we're talking about probabilities, guys. TA can predict, I would say, 70% of the moves, maybe 60% of the moves. Fundamentals, until you actually read something and understand it, well, I mean, guess what, it's been already materialized, because money travels way faster than the news syndication. So in this situation, we can see also the Nasdaq is in a top range, and if you look at where we've been since COVID, since 2020, that drop, it's done tremendous things. I mean, you didn't have to be a skilled trader to make money. 200%, even if you didn't invest in any freaking asset, just one ETF, one index. Here we have the Russell, which is more interest rate sensitive and more it's more sensitive to the US dollar, because these are the smaller caps, what we call smaller companies, Russell 2000 ETF. But in this situation, we can see that because we're on the daily now, what we can observe is this small but very consistent consolidation. Whenever you see an up move and then a consolidation, this is a bull flag formation. Essentially, a bull flag indicates that the bulls are just taking a breather. There's a consolidation, distribution of buyers and sellers, but in a very healthy manner. This allows more liquidity to enter the market before your next leg up. And sometimes it is a measured move of the pole up, or it can be higher. I'm more into the PPT methodology that I've learned, which is price, pattern, and time. Time is very important. If we look at the counts, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candles. Usually when you have 7, 9 a series of consolidation, you can expect at some point a move. So I'd be interested to see if this week we make a move up or we keep consolidating. This is a very, very bullish chart, although there have been ups and downs due to the interest rates. Because look, guys, especially the 10-year, which is very important, or the 2-year, you've seen the rise of interest rates, right? And the rise of interest rates comes in the form of selling treasuries, perhaps from China. It can be anywhere else around the world. But at the same time, it also indicates that liquidity is finding its way elsewhere. An important chart I wanted to show you guys, the VIX is important, of course. The US, okay, talking about the economy, those who are very pro-economy, because I don't want to go into the jobs data and unemployment and consumer spending, because it gets very tedious. But the overall picture here is that if you're in a healthy economy, oil should not be here. 76 is decent. But this price range here of oil, this price range here of oil is not healthy. Why? Because this shows that the demand of oil is not as strong. Okay, the supply is there, obviously, but the demand is not there. Where else do we find the price of oil? Here. Okay, well, we were just about to recover. We were in the midst of COVID, but we were about to recover. And when we recovered, look what happened. So this was a situation of high, extreme demand, a lot of money. But this was the consolidation phase. You see what I mean earlier? You make a move up, you consolidate, and then when it's ready to go, you move up. You make a measured move, okay? I'm sure you measure here to here all the way up. It's pretty symmetrical. Markets move in symmetry. You know why? Because money moves in symmetry because people are symmetrical. And in the sense that the exact number of people who invest, divest, and also rotate capital elsewhere. So the continuous flow of money uses some sort of natural law of symmetry. It's math. Math is the language of the cosmos, like Pythagoras used to say. That's why we have the Pythagorean, which later was named by Fibonacci, who just took essentially Pythagoras' work. You look at the Fibonacci retrace, you look at how essentially there's a sequence of numbers that you can also find in nature. It's beautiful. A lot of technicals here. I don't want to confuse you. But let's look at a little bit about, let's look at crypto. What's going on with crypto? Wow. Whoa. Okay. This has been a tremendous move by Bitcoin. We're not surprised. As a trader, I'm not surprised because look at the consolidation phase that it took in the period of how many months here? From March, dear Lord, I remember this move, March till October. Okay, so whenever you have a consolidation that is around 6 months or so, you can expect violent moves to the upside when it's in a bull flag. So now we're stuck in this range. A lot of people are calling for the top. A lot of people are scared. But let's see what's going on here. Even here, this is a consolidation phase. Okay, we're consolidating. Yeah, we hit 100K. Okay, but why should you be interested at a price number? Just look at what is going on in the market. There's a consolidation period over here. And this consolidation period that we see right over here is just gearing up for the next move up. In my opinion, I think we're going to see 120 plus in this cycle, only because the longer we consolidate here, and look, this is a very bullish trend. I'll give you some secrets. Whenever you have higher lows over here, as you can see. This was a flash candle, this doji of equal buyers and sellers, but whenever you have higher lows, sure, you're having some, lower highs or equal highs. You start creating this pressure, okay? This pressure where things get tighter and tighter, and this will gear up for a move upside at some point. Okay, the volume You can see the volume of buyers have been quite steady. Sure, we had some violent selling, but in a bull market, you will always have strong corrections. And just like in a bear market, you will always have strong bull-like movements that will sort of trap people in thinking, oh, now this is the bull market. Okay, this is how markets work. It's all about deception, and it's all about confusing people. Because if it was easy to make money, everybody would be doing this. Now let's take a look at Mara, one of my favorite stocks that I am carrying a lot of stocks since last year. Now I've been trading the stock a little bit, so I've been accumulating. I sold a little bit here. I bought halfway here. I waited this chop out. It was agonizing, but I knew that at some point we're gonna break out. Now you could have said that, hey, isn't this like a bear flag formation? Well, sort of, but when you see that a formation takes much, much longer, then the opposite move starts gaining more probabilities. There are some inverse head and shoulder movement that suggests that there's a rounding bottom process. Whenever you have a rounding bottom process, that is very bullish towards the upside, especially if it's in the lower price range historically, because this has been a price range that has been hit several times. It's spent quite a bit of time here. And of course, you're having higher lows, which is very bullish overall, right? Like when we look at the longer scale of things. So Mara, what do I see here in Mara? Some people are curious, they want to know. Okay, so on the daily, you might think this is a topping tail, meaning that you had huge sellers here. So that often suggests a move towards the downside and that this is a temporary top. This is incorrect. This is not a topping tail because, again, we must always look at the bigger macro move. Okay, and this is the best chart. This is the best time scale wise chart you'd see. Like even if I go on the monthly, it's very grandiose here, the movement. This is a topping tail, guys. A topping tail is always projected and confirmed when you are at the very, very top of the prices historically, okay? Now, this is high up here. Like, this is something that you would call a topping tail. This is something that you would call a topping tail. Whenever the tail, the upper wick, is way larger and grandiose than the actual body of the candle. Okay, these are some secrets. They've been leaked. I'm not sharing with you anything crazy. But essentially, this was the first bull market of Bitcoin. You see, it had that M-style move, A down, consolidated a little bit, failed, tested, came back again, failed, tested. Very bullish movement for the future, though. So this was the period that, you would expect through this consolidation and this rounding a move a bit higher. So now this is where we are. If you look at the daily, it looks shitty. Yeah, okay. Pardon me. Sorry, guys. If you look at the daily, yeah, okay. The daily here looks a bit shitty, Like, come on, we got rejected at the $30 price. We're down to 23. Come on, $7. But you have to stomach these. This is a volatile stock that is very generous when it's moving up, and it will make you a lot of money. Okay, and so you have to appreciate the fact that just like Bitcoin and crypto, it's volatile. You just have to consolidate, and you have to prepare yourself to have some dry powder aside, some money to collect. This is the consolidation phase. It broke out. It's retesting now this area before it makes its next move. If Bitcoin really hovers in the 120, 130 zone, or even tops 180 or 150, or maybe tops around 120, you can expect that Mara will have to break out inevitably from this period of consolidation and hit the low 30s, okay, low 40s. Okay, I believe that Bitcoin will reach that price. You can see this consolidation has been going on for a long time, but it's healthy, and the trend is upward. The volume we have is very strong, and it just follows Bitcoin, right? It follows Bitcoin in a way that lags, of course. It lags because there is a lot of emphasis on Bitcoin, especially on the other cryptos. But as you can see here, the gains that you can make from the beginning and the end of the bull cycle. Like look at these numbers, 4,000%. Now is this gonna happen here? No. Okay, there's degradation, but this is what happens when the bull market starts. So do I think we're gonna see a 300, a potentially 400? Yeah, I do think that at the end of the bull market will be here. So you start consolidating here. Even $23 is relatively cheap. It's a good price. This is one of the best mining producers in the freaking world. It's the second largest Bitcoin holder as a company after MicroStrategy. Okay, and if we take a look at the money supply, the M1, M2, pardon me, of Federal Reserve. Now this is much more complicated than it looks. Money supply is rising, but it doesn't mean that it's going straight to the commercial banks yet, and that this is being loaned. But as you can see, we are on a move higher. Now, for how long, we don't know. But the momentum looks like it's rising. It hasn't spent too much time on the higher levels, which generally is can top, but it's on its way there. So we could expect that, you know, another 400 billion could be printed to reach the previous levels of COVID. You best believe that now with rates dropping, okay, look at this. This is a bear flag formation consolidation. You had two massive selling candles here in November, December 2023. Ever since it bounced, it never managed to take a hold of this. If it closed higher than this, I would have said, yeah, yields are going higher. But it had a reflexive bounce straight down, retesting this part here, having a much smaller bounce, notice, than over here. And now it's somewhat consolidating, but this looks like a topping tail of some sorts. We could be seeing a leg down. If we close below this green candle, you best believe that rates will drop quite fast. I do think that we're going to reach these levels. These levels are next. This zone here from 3.3 to 2.4, this is the area we're going to find ourselves. How soon? Hard to tell. It could be mid 2025. It could be Q3. Could be Q3. It could be earlier. I don't think it will happen earlier, but in 2 months, look at how fast this dropped. We take a measure and move down, and look, in 2 months, you could be somewhere over here. So don't exclude anything. And in trading, you always have to be nimble and flexible. Okay, we're not talking in absolute terms. We're observing what the price action and the momentum is indicating. And the markets are foretelling. They're foreshadowing. Okay, the price action of money indicates what is to come. What is the belief in the future? Let's look at Jasmine, one of my favorite coins, the less advertised. I made some pretty gains on this one. I didn't buy at the lows here. I should have, but I was a skeptic. Sorry, the lows here. I didn't buy here. I bought a little bit higher. When I saw this candle here, I bought, and I made a decent amount. I didn't make 200. I sold around 100%. So I doubled my money. But now we're in a phase of accumulation. Do I think we're going to reach these all-time highs? 36 cents. I don't think so. But I do think that with this strong momentum up, it's one of the strongest movers of all these coins. I do think, and it does have a use case, interesting use case in Japan. Sony is behind it. Okay. This is a very, very healthy consolidation, pullback, very steep pullback. But look, And the month, it's a weekly candle. It's still closing within the green candle, so we're good. I think this is a healthy consolidation for much, much higher. If we were to do a fib, yeah, the 1618 is a golden area. You could see it go to next at 6 cents. If you do a fib on this move, which it's not complete yet, so it's not 100% valid, it's the 1618 goes to 7 cents. Hey, this is possible. It's possible. I do think that we still have a 2-3x here. I think we could even reach 10 cents. So I want to look into commodities, but you guys, this is a long recording. If you guys like this, share it, comment what you'd like to see. Also, like, share, comment what you'd like to see. Of course, subscribe. And this was a different format. You know, we will every so often I will do one of these things so you can see what I look as a trader, as an investor, what as an analyst, what do I think as a market researcher when I look at these prices. Okay, like people with Bitcoin, they're you know they think that they're panicking. You shouldn't be panicking. You're in a healthy consolidation phase. Listen, nothing goes up in a straight line, and when it does, it often fails. So in this situation, having a slow grind up and consolidating is, I mean, this is not slow, but the grind up and the consolidation, this is perfectly healthy. You have to digest your food before you make the next move. And this should be a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, I hinted that marathon is my favorite, right? Okay, so buy here. Guys, start buying. DCA into this. You will be rewarded. I'm telling you. Support this stock. It's volatile, but it's absolutely worth it because when it moves faster than anything else. It's the best miner, and it's you know, they're right now leveraging on 0%, creating their own, using their own corporate treasuries to buy Bitcoin, store in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the future. Bitcoin is going to be used. Trump right now has the PayPal mafia as the crypto gurus next to him, guys. Look at who's the PayPal mafia. I'm telling you guys, you have to be in this stuff. They are purposely devaluing the currency. Don't look at this recent bounce. We are destined to drop in the 90 zone sooner or later. Okay? So make your right move. And let's also look at dominance. I know I'm rambling quite a bit, but I wanted to share with you why I think that also we're in a good position. We had the Bitcoin dominance that sort of moves inversely with the rest of the crypto. It was grinding higher, 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 this wall of worry, some may say. But as you can see, again, these trend lines, as you see, this little wedge formation, whenever it's going up, it will bounce down. It will, fall and bounce from the upper levels of this wedge. As you can see here, the dominance fell quite a bit, 11+%. Now it's having it's having a mini bounce of 5-6, no, less than that. Yeah, 4.5%. This is a reflexive, just a reactive bounce before the bigger move. I do think we're going to go down, and we have a lot of space, guys. We have a lot of space for this market to keep on rallying. Yeah, we have until 38%, which is probable, 40%, even 44%. We have a lot to fall. So we have 27%. 27% of dominance will mean that you're going to see some other coins do 5 or 10x this. Okay, because this shows the dominance of the market cap of BTC. So that means that it has to rotate into other things, like it's been going on with stocks. Okay, guys, if you like this, thumbs up. I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye for now.